Greetings. Ooh, greetings. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. We've got a slightly different setup today, so things might sound a little bit strange. Just while I try and get all of this set up. But hello, welcome. I'm going to switch over to the chatting screen. Hello, welcome. Okay, I'm aware that it looks slightly different. I've moved the camera slightly further over to where it normally, away from where it normally is. That is for a very good reason, which I'll get to in a second. The only main change is that you can you get a better view of Poppy now, which is great. Please send good thoughts to Poppy. Poppy is ill at the moment, so any good thoughts or good vibes would be very much appreciated. She's okay. She's absolutely fine. She's just a little bit ill and tired and fed up, which I think is a big mood. Rachology, hello. Good to see you. Hi, Dr. Lou. Ella, good to see you. Ella, thank you for subscribing with Prime. You kind of caused. Oh, are you off? All right, already. But yeah. So I got so before if I've got OBS set up, but even if I'm not streaming and somebody follows or somebody subscribes or whatever, I still get the notification sound. So I was in the kitchen or something, and then I heard the stream notifications and I panicked because I thought, oh no, I'm live, just running through into the just running through into the thing. Oh no, it's fine, everything's absolutely fine, we're all good. Big mood, or as I like to call it, a bood. Hopefully there will be no booing. I'm not really sure. I'm just going to do some couple of little adjustments and things. Can you hear me okay? Am I coming through at a good volume? I'm not peaking or anything. Just making sure that everything all sounds good, because I'm running it through a different thing. So please do let me know if things are too quiet or too loud. You got a bit quiet just then. Okay, I'll turn that up. Okay, is that better? How's that? I should probably talk a little bit closer to the microphone as well. Yeah, so what are we doing today? So here's the thing. I have talked about this already on stream, but it's this scary looking thing. A bit low and muffly, but I just upped my Twitch volume. Okay, I think I can up things at my end a little bit as well. There we go. Is that a bit better? There we go. Okay. I think the mics, I'm getting a little bit of distortion in my headphones, but I think that's that's more of a me thing. It doesn't sound like it's coming through the stream, which is good. Yeah, so this is my brand new live setup. A bit muffled sounding. Okay, hang on a second. I might be able to fix that. a bit muffled. Okay, I might be able to fix. Is there an EQ on this? No, that seems to be fine. Cam speed, yeah, that seems to all be fine as well. Okay, I think we might just have slightly, because I'm using a different microphone, it might just be slightly, is it because I've, tell you what, I'll mute the microphone before I do that. How is that? Is that better? Is that less muffled? Just taking this off. Yes, less so. Okay, well, that might just be a microphone thing specifically. But yeah, so I'm later this week. I'm going to be doing a live show. I'm going to be doing a live show in Glasgow, and I'm going to be doing something brand new. I'm going to be doing a live show. I've put a little flyer in the corner of the screen there for the event that's happening, and yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about it. Spoilers. Well, here's the thing. We can talk about spoilers, but in terms of what's actually being performed, it's going to be a sort of introduction to the tower. So if you've listened to the tower, you're not going to be spoiled anything. You're not going to have as long as you've listened to the first 2 seasons of the tower, you're not going to hear anything you've not heard already. And basically, the idea is I'm just going to be adding a little bit more context to the tower and kind of talking a little bit about where it came from. But here's the thing: I need to practice. I need to practice, and I've not done that yet. So that's what we'll be getting tower lore. It's less about getting tower lore. It's more about where it's kind of imagine it as sort of like a non-fiction piece about the tower. So imagine it as sort of a. I've just worked out what the problem is. I think it's because I'm getting the audio twice, so that's why it's coming through distorted for me. Anyway, damn, if only I wasn't in Norfolk. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to be performing it for you right now because I need to rehearse, and this is kind of the only time I have this week to rehearse. So I'm gonna be doing it today. So I'm going to be doing it before your very eyes. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about how this new setup works. I'm going to be kind of practicing and kind of going through the different bits and pieces of this setup. I have a script as well because I do not have the time or energy to, or indeed the memory capacity to learn scripts. So I'm going to be kind of doing it this way. Also, this kind of tells me where the buttons are, which buttons to press and things. So that's what we're going to be going through. So in terms of like the equipment side of things, so this is a Boss Gigacaster 5. So it's a mixer. You can also use it for streaming, which is something I'm very excited to, what I'm kind of excited to test out. I got sent this to do a review of for my job as at the podcast host, and I liked it so much I asked if I could keep it, and they were very nice, and they said yes, which is always nice. I like it when companies do that. Do you want feedback of any kind or cheering on and positive vibes? A little bit of both. I mean, I'm kind of looking for more cheering on and positive vibes because I think it's I'm happy with where it's at. I think I'm looking for more performance notes than script notes, if that makes sense. But positive vibes on standby. Thank you very much, Dr. Lou. What else do I have? So, we also have the Roland SB404 Mark II, my baby. This is a sampler. So basically, I'll tell you what, I'll just play some music through it just now, so then I can chat over that. So basically, any sound, any music, any clips is all going to be coming through this. This can do all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So like right now, I'm using it as a sampler. You can also add effects to it, which is really cool. So you can do effects in real time, which is really nice. So it also works as like a little effects box. Add some delay. Or a really cool one, which is a scatter effect. Or just some distortion and things. It's used a lot for like lo-fi remixing and like lo-fi tracks. But me being me, I saw this and I thought, ooh, you could run an audio drama through this. You could do a live show with this. Where do you get these? Where do you get all these wonderful toys? Well, this came from eBay because these are quite hard to track down. But I've been after one for a while, and I'll be quite honest with you. Basically, when Twitter happened, when everything happened with Twitter at the end of last year, I sort of had a little bit of a panic. Like, I'll fully admit this. Oh, Poppy's back. I had like a tiny little panic where I was basically like, my audience reach is going to disappear because Twitter's where I got most of my initial audience. It's where I made most of my connections. Initially, it's where I met. I suspect it's probably where I met most of you are in chat right now, and as someone who has this as a job somehow, it was really worrying. It was really concerning, and I sort of thought, right, well, what's the what's the best way? What do I do now? It's how we met. Exactly, we met. I met the wonderful Ella Watts on Twitter, and it's how we first got to know each other, and it's also from a purely from a purely listenership perspective, um, when I first started making Tin Can all the way back in 2016, the first kind of big explosion that it had was on Twitter, and that's where I've always kind of found my audience. Is where I've always had the most engagement, and the fact that it's now turning into a bin fire basically. um I got really, really worried, and I had a little bit of not a freak out, but I got very, very anxious about it. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Because I was just like, I don't think learning another social media or jumping ship to another social media platform is necessarily going to work because you're just building up the audience from scratch again. And I kind of thought, it's I like to think that the work I make is good, and I choose to believe that if the work is good, people will find it. People will always find it. Good work will always have an audience, I think. Um, but I sort of thought, right, well, what's the best way? The best way to get an audience has always been getting out and getting in front of people and performing. That's what I did when I was a musician. I used to be a busker. I used to be a full-time busker. That's how I used to sell CDs when CDs were still a thing. Um, and most of all of my experience in bands has been through playing gigs. You don't get an audience by recording music. You get an audience by performing music in front of people or playing that music in front of people. And I sort of thought, right, well, how do you take something like an audio drama that is very much in this kind of environment, um very much this sort of studio in front of a computer environment. How do you take that and put it in front of people? And Twitch is one way of doing it, but another way of doing it is something like this. So I kind of just and then it so happened that Phil from the Wind podcast got in touch. It's saying that they were on tour. They were going to be in Glasgow at the end of August, and did I have a set that I could perform? And the honest answer was no. So the honest answer was no, but I sort of thought, right, well, I can come up with something by the end of August. So this is hopefully the start of something. I've since written stuff specifically for this, one of which is kind of half made, so I might play that tonight. But yeah, so that's the idea tonight. You can blame Queer Buccaneer for me being here, by the way. Nice job on the Wrestling is Silly theme. Thank you so much. It was so wonderful to see the theme in action on Wrestling is Silly. Oh, I love that stream so much. And Eden is just great. And I was very happy to be able to make some wrestling music. It's tangentially related to something I'm trying to pester someone into making. So it was a little bit not necessarily selfish of me, but there were personal reasons involved. But anyway, so yeah, if you happen to be in Glasgow on Thursday, I'm going to be at the Old Hairdressers in the centre of Glasgow. I'm going to be performing hopefully a slightly slicker version of what you're going to hear tonight. But if you can't make it, here's a recording for you. So yeah, let's just do a run through. There'll almost certainly be mistakes this time around, but we're going to make this work. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I won't be responding to chat while I'm kind of running through it, but I'll try and get through it afterwards. So here we go. Ever since I started playing the bass at age 12, I've always loved performing for people. But performing an audio drama live takes a lot of work. You have to find a space. You have to herd all of your actors into that space. You have to rehearse. You have to put together a fairly complicated tech setup. And then you get to the show and nobody turns up to watch it because you were so busy putting it together you forgot to tell anyone that it was happening. What I wanted to do was something small with a kind of minimal setup that I could take places and be able to travel with without having to have a bus full of actors come with me. And I struggled for a very, very, very long time trying to figure out what that looked like, what that sounded like, how best to tell you about the stories I make without just playing you an episode while I sort of sit here and vibe, I guess. So, after many, many, many drafts, a lot of test recordings, and a lot of messages from friends saying things like,
I'm not sure this works.
I'm not sure it's quite working yet.
Since when do you have a podcast? Also, this doesn't work.
That last one's my wife, in case anyone's wondering. I thought I would tell you about the story that I'm the most proud of. It is an audio drama concept album, stick with me, called The Tower. And I wanted to talk about where the idea for the show came from. I've just got a notification noise, I think. Not 100% sure what that was. I'm assuming that's Twitch. Where was I? An experimental audio drama concept album called The Tower. What it means to me, and a little bit about the journey I went through while making it.
Hey, Kiri. What's up?
Hey, I didn't wake you, did I?
No, not at all. I'm still up.
Yeah, me too.
I can tell.
Sorry.
Insomnia still got you too, huh?
You bet.
You okay?
Yeah. Weirdly, I just made a decision.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to climb the tower.
It's January 2018, and I am not doing well. Winters in Glasgow tend to be very long, very dark, and very cold, and it's raining all the time. I work at a cocktail bar in Glasgow, working very late, irregular hours that ruin my internal clock, and always, for some reason, seem to mean that I am awake for the really dark, cold, and rainy parts of the day. It's also, I think, starting to affect my physical well-being and my mental health generally, but good bar jobs are thin on the ground, and who has the time to look, right? I spend most of my days feeling tired and anxious and trapped in my own head. My world feels very small.
You're what?
Yeah. I'm going to climb the tower. I booked a train ticket for tomorrow and...
You want to climb the tower? In winter?
Yeah, there's less people at the bottom.
That's a good thing?
Yeah, less people to stop me.
The thing that sustains me is making audio drama. Writing stories and making things has always been how I figure out how I feel about stuff. So I start writing a new story about a young woman in a very similar situation to mine who one night decides to leave it all behind.
Seriously?
What? Do you know what's up there?
No, but I know it's not what people think is up there. You're being ridiculous.
Look, Chris, I have to do something. I'm so bored of being worried all the time. I need to get out of the city, get out of my head, and then feel like I'm being someone.
And climbing an infinite tower to certain death is the way to do that.
It's not infinite. Nothing is infinite.
That's the bit you're focusing on?
Whatever's up there can't be worse than what's down here.
It feels strange hearing that line now.
Whatever's up there can't be worse than what's down here.
I don't think I quite realized how bad things were when I wrote that.
I'm sorry I yelled. I don't want this to end in a fight.
You're serious about this?
Yeah,
Are you coming back?
I don't know. I want to.
Okay.
In my mind, I saw a rainy city at night, stretching out as far as the eye could see, wide and yet somehow narrow and claustrophobic at the same time. With a shadow of something far in the distance, a dark mass stretching up into the sky, over the city, over everything, an imposing monolith of ancient stone.
It's so big and square.
A ziggurat?
Bless you.
No, the structure. It's called a ziggurat.
And I saw a young woman named Kiri, leaving behind her isolated, claustrophobic existence to climb this seemingly infinite, impossible structure, covered in undisturbed snow and forgotten by time. This was the beginning of the tower.
Hello?
Hey,
Kiri? What? How?
I know. It turns out someone installed payphones on the way up the tower.
What?
I know. It's weird, right?
I'll say. I didn't realize payphones still existed.
Yeah, this place is all kinds of old.
The Tower is a story about friendship, identity, our place in the world, and our relationship with our past. It is a story about trying to fix something, but not really knowing how or where to start. It's also a show that features a surprising amount of conversation about phones.
Hello?
Oh. Wow, okay. Hello?
Who is this?
Who is this?
I asked first.
Well, my name's Ike, and I run the phones on the tower.
Really?
I mean, I don't run the phones. I test them to make sure they're still working.
That's your job?
As far as I've been told, yeah.
Why'd you have to test the phones?
To make sure they're still working, obviously.
I made the first 6 episodes of The Tower with my friends.
Katrina Allen as Carrie.
David Pello as Chris.
Mark Galley as Ike.
And Sarah Golding as Kiri's mum.
We initially made the first 6 episodes as a side project. It was a little experiment while we worked on other things. But we now have 3 seasons, 5 music albums, including a lo-fi remix album called Chill Beats to Climb Impossible Towers 2 that you're hearing right now, 300,000 downloads, a couple of awards, and a piano book, and now whatever the hell this is. This story seems to have resonated with people in a way I really wasn't expecting, in a way I couldn't have expected. Who would have thought a story about the isolation of modern life would hit such a chord with so many people? In a couple of instances, I think it might have resonated just a little tiny bit too much.
1 star. I'm sorry, that's not an ending. Terrible.
That is a... Oh no! Oh no, I messed up! Ah, crap. Okay, that is a...
1 star. I'm sorry, that's not an ending. Terrible.
That is a 1-star review for season 1, which ended on a cliffhanger. It's also a review for this performance, I guess. It's my favorite review of anything I've ever made. The Tower has always been a place for me to explore what I'm thinking and to figure things out and to talk about ideas that I find interesting. it reignited my interest in history, in science, in reading books, and just learning stuff.
I'm really getting into reading about the tower.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be learning stuff again. Makes me feel like I'm getting better every day.
One of my favourite parts of the tower comes towards the end of season 2. Kiri is not doing well.
I think I just assumed that I'd come out of this and go back home. Back to normal. I'm starting to realise that that's not really possible anymore.
Do you want to go back to normal?
I don't know. In some ways, yes. I wasn't happy before, but it was stable, predictable. Now I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going. I don't even know what day it is anymore.
You'd rather be able to know the future.
Well, I'd like to know if I'm going to be okay. Is that too much to ask?
Well, I don't know how this ends, and I know you don't either. And there's not much either of us can do about it.
Yeah.
We recorded part 2 in 2020, and I'd also recently figured out I was non-binary. There was a lot going on when we were making part 2 of the tower. Anyway, Kiri has a voicemail.
We got another voicemail, which I think might be for you.
Really?
Yeah, I'll patch it through. Think I've got this worked out.
I got Mark Galley to improvise the next bit, and I just love it so much.
You here, and you're friends with this guy, and then that means you go, yep.
And this is my favourite part of the whole show. It features the voice of Sarah Golding, who, by the way, signed off her recording for this like this.
Stop getting excited. Have a lovely day. Bye.
I'm going to talk about why I love this monologue so much in a second. And I'm going to talk about why I think it's... I'm going to talk about why in a minute, but I do want to talk about why I think this is important and why I think it demonstrates what the show means to me and why I think very highly of this show. But first, I just kind of want to let this play out.
Hi, Kiri. It's Mum. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed your call. I was out hiking again. Yeah, the hills are getting bigger and bigger, and the walks are taking longer and longer. It's not too bad, as I have the time now. It's okay, Kiri. I know you're busy and you should be busy, but not too busy. I learned that one the hard way. If you work too hard, you're very much like us that way. But we turned out fine, as did you. There is time for long walks now. Yeah, I hope your trip is going well. It can be hard when you're away to ground yourself in something, especially when everything is changing around you. That can also be exciting. And I know you won't shy away from it, and that you'll keep on moving forward regardless, because you are my daughter. With all the bravery and stubbornness of her parents and much, much more besides. It is okay to worry, you know. I mean, even the strongest of us have days when we must rest, and that's how it should be. There were days when I would worry for you constantly, obsessively, even though I knew you'd be alright. I still do, from time to time. But oh, you're older, and I think wiser some of the time.
Yeah, we're okay, Kiri. We miss you. But we are proud of you. Every day. And every step of the way, we are behind you. You're always miles ahead of us, eh? Yeah, there will be time to visit, Kiri. Don't worry. And there will be time for long walks. Okay, take care. Bye. Bye. Bye.
I think there is power in slowing down, in giving ourselves permission to slow down. My friend Ollie, who read the 1-star review earlier.
This is for Dev. I'll give you 3 because I'm feeling generous.
Once mused that the world would be a much better place if it were run on marijuana instead of speed. The world moves too fast sometimes. And we're so often told that if we don't move fast enough, we'll lose out, that we're not being productive enough, that we're somehow not living up to our potential.
I wasted time, and now doth time waste me.
But we have so much time! A lifetime might as well be forever. And the thing I love about this monologue, and I think the thing that I love about the Tower, is that it allows anyone listening to just take a second and slow down and breathe, to put aside everything that you are carrying just for a moment and know that you'll be okay. I don't work at a cocktail bar anymore. This strange little show has allowed me to make telling stories with sound my career, somehow. There is time for long walks now. Making the Tower made me realise what was important to me. It helped me figure out who I am and who it is that I want to be. I think it made me brave. I am so proud of this series and everyone involved in it. And I am so thankful to everyone who has come along with us on this journey. And I can't wait to see what's next for us as we climb together.
Remember the courage.
I will.
Good luck, Kiri.
Thank you. Good night, Chris.
Good night.
Remember the courage.
And there we go. That's the show. That's the piece. Oops, should probably stop that. Yeah, okay, a couple of little flubs, and there was a point where I got lost, but not bad. Not bad for a first time. Not bad for a first go in a while. Okay, great. I have no idea what that notification was, because for some reason, OBS just decided not to show me the notification. But no need to apologize, Rachel. Do not worry about that at all. Yeah, all he's reading is fantastic. I think it's rather wonderful. Normal for Sarah. Yep, that sounds about right. I think this is the bit that made me cry. Yes, I've said this many a time. I don't know how Sarah Golding does it, but there's something about when you put music underneath those performances. It just it does something. I've never been able to understand it, but it is a power that scares me. I just adore the point about time. Thank you so much. It's really beautiful. Thank you. I love it when you played the quote about time too. Yes, you see, I didn't like that kind of quote at the end. I've always been a bit kind of whether it should be there or not, but I'm kind of at the stage now where look, it's got a button. I'm gonna play it. It's there. And
Hi,
oh no,
Kiri.
press 2 button. I forget how like sensitive these buttons are. 27 quid is a ticket price for the sneak peek. Oh, thank you so much. Oh wow, is that a Ko-fi thing? Ah, right, that's what it is. Because I've got the Ko-fi button switched off. That'll be the Ko-fi button is hidden underneath the that is hidden underneath the screen right now. So that'll be what if I pop this up here. Yeah, there we go. Thank you so much, Rachology. That's incredibly kind of you. And I'll put the chat box over the image so I can actually see. Oh, you're a genius. Thank you so much, Rachology. That's incredibly kind of you. Right, I'm just going to quickly reset this because oh no, no. Yep. So so I need to go back here. Pop this back up to volume. This is the really fiddly part. And I need to get this particular, where's it gone? It's down here, isn't it?
Katrina Allen as Carrie.
So as Chris.
Mark Galley as Ike.
Sarah Golding as Kiri's mom.
Right, okay. So basically I'm going to turn this down. Oh no. I'm going to turn that down while we chat. So basically, the place where I messed up is that there's a specific combination of buttons to press to like select a pad to change its volume. So basically, I messed that up. But that's fine. That's fine. I can live with that. That's just a case of rehearsing. And I got lost a couple of places, but that's fine. There's just growing pains, right? That wasn't bad. Oh, no donation from Ella Watts. Thank you so much, Ella. Thank you. Aw, I'm doing that too. That's incredibly kind. Thank you so much. That is very, very kind of you. But yeah, I'll talk you through the setup just now while we're here. So because basically I was given a 20-minute set and I decided to fill that 20-minute set with a 20-minute piece. I'm okay with this. I also think it's very, very funny that this piece is quite a bit longer than the average Tower episode. My partner is now wanting to listen to the Tower again on the next long car journey. Amazing! I'd say they enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you very much, Rachology's partner. Thank you so much. Yeah, so basically, to give you a very rough overview of how I'm trying to organize this in my brain, to give you an idea of the hell I am having to figure out, because I kept forgetting while I was playing this that you can also see down here. You can see all this. But to cut a long story kind of short, so we've got the microphone going into this track here. For this, I can also I'm excited to use this as like a mixer for streaming as well, and use this as an interface because it just gives me so much more control over. I can connect it directly to streaming and kind of control different things, and basically it's a very good thing that I have, and I'm glad that I kind of got to review it and was allowed to keep it. It also has a soundboard, but the sound this one doesn't come preloaded, sadly, which is a shame. But there's a bigger version that comes with like a loaded soundboard, and if I say to you, podcast soundboard, right? The sounds that come with that mixer are exactly the sounds that you are hearing in your head right now. Like there's applause, there's laughter, there's an air horn, there's booing, all sorts of things. But yeah, so thankfully we're spared that with the Gigacaster 5 over here. I've got both outputs of the Roland going into here, and that's the volume of this mixer here. So I've got mute buttons down here as well, which is always very handy. And then the way, basically, these are all in order. These are all done in order. They've all kind of been leveled and cut to different lengths and things. The scary ones, the sort of big scary ones, are this one here, where you get the start of some music, and then you get a scene with Katrina. I need to say Katrina and Chris, with
I'm sorry I yelled.
with Katrina and Paolo.
To end in a fight.
And then the music just plays on. So it's going through the script, trying to time it so that I make sure that I get to the
I don't know.
get to the title theme at the right time. And then there's another one and then at the end as well, there's a very, very long piece of music that I'm having to fill with script and try and time it so that last bit at the end there with the sort of end scene doesn't run away with me. It's it was then I decided to write an audio drama. Does it I don't think the sounds are here because I don't have the Gigacaster app. Should I download the Gigacaster app? Do you reckon? Do you want the cheesy podcast sound effects? I don't think you do, but it would be a little bit on brand if we did have them, right? I'm just going to cut back to this screen because you can't quite see Poppy because she's asleep, but she's passed out and looking very adorable right now, which is good. Sleeping is good. Yeah, okay. I'm quite kind of happy with that. I'm going to go through it again, I think. The idea is that when I sit down, I'm going to kind of introduce myself and be very clear about this is the first time I've done anything like this, because normally I get to sit behind a computer and not have to worry about being booed, I guess, which is why this is such a great arrangement for it, because I know that even if you are booing, I can't hear you, which I think is better for both of us, right? Because when you're booing someone, you're booing, you're not booing yourself, but you're booing for you. You know, it's for you rather than for the other person. So I also hope you're not booing, but at the same time, no one's gonna boo. I know. Yeah. Me and Ollie will glare at them. Yeah. I think it's going to be a very chill evening. Like one of the other performers, Cal Bannerman, we're sort of Bonsai Gem. Hello, lovely to see you. I hope you're having a good evening, a good time zone. You just missed the first rehearsal, so we're just about to go into the second one. So you're all good. You've come at a fantastic time as always. But yeah, so there's a couple of people, and also and this is the bit where I hope that nobody actually involved in the gig is currently watching, because there is a festival going on right now in Glasgow called Radiophrenia, and the idea behind Radiophrenia, too much, but the idea behind Radiophrenia is that it is a radio festival. In Glasgow. Basically, they set up a small FM radio station in the centre of Glasgow, and then they broadcast audio work throughout for about 2 weeks. I think it started on the 21st, and it's going through right till I think the 4th of September. So I think it's a couple of weeks. But it's a lot of really cool things. It's a mix of sort of live performances that are recorded and broadcast at the same time, and then it's also a collection of audio work. Right, and the reason why the Wind is in Glasgow is because Phil, who runs the podcast, is being interviewed on Radio Free, is being interviewed on this radio station. Annoyingly, so it's an FM radio station. So they set up like an FM receiver on the roof of a building, and they broadcast within this art space, which is really cool. I have so many FM radios, right? And I was so excited. To listen to like audio narrative, like modern, like experimental audio narrative work on an FM radio being broadcast, and you can have that immediacy of listening to something live. But the thing is that the receiver's not quite good enough to reach where I am in Glasgow. So I basically had this little radio. It's got a really long aerial, right? I just had it pointed towards the window, desperately trying to get a signal. And yeah, didn't work, sadly, which is a shame. But at the same time, it's still a really exciting thing. But one of the reasons why I'm really excited to do this gig is that I get to meet people who are involved in the festival, and hopefully look at potentially maybe getting something on there next year. Maybe who knows? Just because like we were saying, like something that I learned with the Tower Part 3 and making the Tower Part 3 is that as much as the my work has a much bigger audience than I think I realize is the big. I think the audience is always going to be a little bit bigger than what I think it is, which I think is the right way around for that to be. But a lot of it is not in Scotland. It's not a local audience. Like there's a big concentration of people down in London, and then I know a lot. The majority of my listeners are in America, which is also great. If I ever go to America, if I ever end up doing anything in America, I'm very excited. I'll be very excited to see how that goes. But yeah, I don't really have a local audience, and I think I'm interested in focusing a bit more on developing a bit more of a local audience and being a bit more active in the meat space radio scene. And it's why, like, there are audio drama podcaster meetups happening in Scotland again, which is great. Like, it's so good to have those starting up again, and it's a very talented, very cool bunch of people who are all making some really, really interesting, fantastic work. And it's great to see. And if not slightly disquieting to be told that I'm considered an elder. Sorry, that still makes me laugh. An elder in the scene, which is a terrifying thought. Scotland and occasional invaders from the south. Please come up, not the invaders, but people. Just people, audio drama people could come up. Like, I mean, to be fair, I go down to. I mean, I used to go down to London all the time, but less now. But I'm gonna be down in London for London Podcast Festival on the 10th of September. So I'm gonna be there for the audio drama day. I'm gonna be there seeing all the live shows, which I'm very excited about. I think it's the first London Podcast Festival I've been to where I've genuinely not been involved in anything, which is a nice idea. That's a nice thought. Like, usually I've either been on like a panel or been on like a recording or something at London Podcast Festival. So it's nice to be there just to hang out and see everyone. One day I will get to a London Podcast Festival. It's fine. It's every year. It's great. It's a great time. I really wanted to go this year, but it's my Nana's 90th. Oh, happy birthday, Nana! That's amazing. That's both of these are very, very good excuses to not go. You're doing a talk is that on the Sunday? Oh, please tell me that's on the Sunday, because I would love to. I mean, I know, Ella, I know that we're working together, and that's great. And I could probably just talk to you about directing, but I'd be very interested to see a talk, to hear you give a talk about directing, because you're very good at it, and I'm very, very excited for the Camlin recording sessions, and to see. It's on the 16th. Oh, okay. Well, we can just talk about directing, because we know each other. We talk to each other all the time. We can just do that. Okay. Let's do another run through of this. Lou, one day we will both get to the London Podcast Festival. Yes, you will get there. Like I said, it happens every year, and there's usually like a weekend, like a Podmaker weekend, and loads of other little shows as well. Like I love. There's a very special place in my heart for London Podcast Festival, because I think that was like the first big audio event I went to, and it was really cool because I got to do a monologue for the Unseen Hour, which was a great time. I was terrified, and my mic technique was garbage, but yeah, it was a really, really lovely experience. Backlime, hello. So sad that talk isn't on the 10th. I'm very excited for everything else. Well, hopefully we will see you there on the 10th. Your Unseen Hour monologue. I had a great time. We covered so many people with crushed veg. I remember I went to Unseen Hour in Edinburgh because I was meant to do the monologue at the Edinburgh show, but Cecil Baldwin from Night Vale said that they were available, and the creator of Unseen Hour gave me it was a slightly not it was a slightly a sort of apologetic phone call where he sort of went, we've got Cecil Baldwin. Are you okay to do the monologue in London instead? I'm like, yes, of course. That's actually much better for me. He improvised. He just walked up to a microphone and just started talking and came up with this creepy monologue about the Edinburgh Fringe. It was amazing. It was a really, really good show. And the Banshee Labyrinth as well, which is an incredible a wonderful little venue in Edinburgh. It's where we did the Middle Below Halloween live shows, the disastrous live shows we did at the Edinburgh Halloween the Edinburgh Horror Festival on Halloween. They went so badly wrong. Anyway, yes, Crushed Veg, Unseen Hour did live practical sound effects. Yes, I loved what Unseen. Like it was just every single aspect of the Unseen Hour was just looked and felt incredibly chaotic. And I remember just being like, this is not sustainable in any way. But yeah, an hour-long show involved a lot of raw cabbage, crushing tomatoes, stabbing watermelons. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've not thought about that day in ages. That was a very, 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 very strange day. I was there the other week with Meg from Kingmaker Histories. Meg insisted on going to the most haunted pub, but we were mostly haunted by people with flyers. To be fair, that does sort of tend to happen at Banshee Labyrinth all year round. Just because the thing about the Banshee Labyrinth is that I still feel like there are places of it that I have not seen, despite the fact that I've been to it so many times. Like there's like so many like little nooks and crannies that all get turned into gig spaces during the Fringe. I love the Banshee Labyrinth. It's great. Has that sort of grimy Edinburgh pub feel that you don't get anywhere else. Kingmaker Histories in the UK. Meg and Henry were over for a visit. Oh, amazing! Oh, fantastic. We're going to have some very exciting people over in the UK for London Podcast Festival. I'm not 100% sure if I'm allowed to talk about who's coming over, but I'll just say we've got some very exciting people coming over for London Podcast Festival. for when I'm there, to give you more of a reason to come down. Amber text me. I think you already know. I'll message you afterwards. Text Ella, don't tell me and Jem. We'll just be sad for missing it. Okay, this is. I feel like we're creating. We're sort of putting lines in sand here. So let's do the thing again. Let me just make sure everything's the right volume. Yep, that's fine. Yep, and then yeah. This is the thing. Like, if I had one criticism for this wonderful box, I think like the thing is right. Like when people ask me what this is, because if I say to people it's a sampler, I feel like if you're not an audio person, you don't know what that means. So I've just started calling it the magic box. We'll call it the audio drama in a box. Which is which feels a bit patronizing to say, right? I'll be quite honest with you, chat. The reason why I'm talking so much is that this piece is 20 minutes long, and I've got 2 hours to fill, so I didn't want to keep doing this over and over again because it's 20 minutes is an oddly specific amount of time. So I hope you're. I quite. Yay, rehearsal. Like I'm gonna keep talking. I will get to the rehearsal in a bit, I promise. I've kind of so I think something that I have learned in my time streaming, right, is that like I don't, and I'm gonna phrase this badly, is that I don't feel like you don't have to be constantly entertaining. Like I get really worried. I used to get really worried when I was making music and I'd be fiddling about with drum tracks or bass tracks at the beginning of the stream, where it's not particularly interesting. The track is still in the very early stages and it doesn't really sound like very much. I used to get really, really worried about that stage. But I think just from the experience of doing Pit Crawler and a couple of other for Anamnesis as well, I'm here for the vibes. That's the realization is that people are here for the vibes and people are here for some chill out time. And I need to remember that. I need to remember that that you're not I mean, you are here for the work, but at the same time it's like you're here for all of it, you know. And that's just something I need to chill with. But right, let's do another rehearsal. Sometimes I'm here for background noise while I script write. Well, that's the thing. Like I know a lot of people have this on in the background while they're working, and I really appreciate that because it's what I use streaming for mostly. Like it's what when I'm watching people on Twitch, because I watch a lot of speedrunners. Like and I'll be honest, I think speedrunning is really cool. But if you ask me to talk about speedrunning tech or techniques on certain runs, I wouldn't be able to tell you anything because they are genuinely just background stuff, and I just as something to kind of look at while I'm working. Yeah, this is how I stay at my desk and get work done. Yeah, like I think it was Naomi from St Kilda introduced me to the idea of, I think is it called body doubling? I can't remember the name, but it's this idea that you work better when there is somebody else there, not necessarily talking to you, not necessarily body doubling. Yeah, like I love that as a concept, and I think I didn't realize that that's what I do. You exude concentrated chill. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'll take that. That's right. Okay, I'll do this one because I also want to talk about the Upriver Downriver actual play I was on Friday, because last week on stream it wasn't properly announced yet, so I couldn't really talk about it, but now I can. So I can talk about this other stream that I'm doing every week, doing streams on a Friday rather than a Wednesday. But I'll do a rehearsal first, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here we go. Since I started playing bass at age 12, I've always loved performing. But performing an audio drama live takes a lot of work. You have to find a space. You have to herd all of your actors into that space. You have to rehearse. You have to put together a fairly complicated tech setup, and then you actually get to the show and nobody turns up to watch it because you were so busy making it that you forgot to tell anyone that it was happening. With that in mind, what I wanted to do was something much smaller that I could do with a minimal setup that I could travel with. And I struggled for a very, very long time with what that looked like and trying to figure out what that sounds like. How best to tell you about the stories I make without just playing you an episode while I sit here vibing. So, after many drafts, after many test recordings, and a lot of messages from friends saying things like,
I'm not sure this works.
I'm not sure it's quite working yet.
Since when do you have a podcast? Also, this doesn't work.
That last one's my wife, in case you're wondering. I thought I would tell you about the story I'm the most proud of. It's an experimental audio drama concept album, stick with me, just anoraks all the way down. An audio fiction concept album called The Tower. And I want to talk a little bit about where the idea for the show came from, what it means to me, and a little bit about the journey I went on while making it.
Hey, Kiri. What's up?
Hey, I didn't wake you, did I?
No, not at all. I'm still up.
Yeah, me too.
I can tell.
Sorry.
Insomnia still got you too, huh?
You bet.
You okay?
Yeah. Weirdly, I just made a decision.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to climb the tower.
It's January 2018, and I am not doing well. Winters in Glasgow tend to be very long, very dark, very cold, and it rains all the time. I work at a cocktail bar doing long, irregular hours that ruin my internal clock and always seem to mean that I am awake for the long, dark, cold parts of the day. It's starting to have a big effect on my mental health, and also now I think my physical health. But good bar jobs are thin on the ground at the moment, and who has the time to look? I spend most of my days feeling tired and anxious and trapped inside my own head. My world feels very small.
You're what?
Yeah. I'm going to climb the tower. I booked a train ticket for tomorrow and...
You want to climb the tower? In winter?
Yeah, there's less people at the bottom.
That's a good thing?
Yeah, less people to stop me.
The thing that sustains me is making audio drama. Writing stories and making things has always been how I figure out how I feel about stuff. So I start writing a new story about a young woman in a very similar situation to mine who one night decides to just leave it all behind.
Seriously?
What? Do you know what's up there?
No, but I know it's not what people think is up there. You're being ridiculous.
Look, Chris, I have to do something. I'm so bored of being worried all the time. I need to get out of the city, get out of my head, and then feel like I'm being someone.
And climbing an infinite tower to certain death is the way to do that.
It's not infinite. Nothing is infinite.
That's the bit you're focusing on?
Whatever's up there can't be worse than what's down here.
It feels strange hearing that line now.
Whatever's up there can't be worse than what's down here.
I don't think I quite realised how bad things were when I wrote that.
I'm sorry I yelled. I don't want this to end in a fight.
You're serious about this?
Yeah.
Are you coming back?
I don't know. I want to.
Okay.
In my mind, I saw a rainy city at night, stretching out as far as the eye could see, wide and yet somehow narrow and claustrophobic at the same time, with a shadow of something far in the distance, a dark mass stretching up into the sky, over the city, over everything, an imposing monolith of ancient stone.
It's so big and square.
A ziggurat?
Bless you.
No, the structure. It's called a ziggurat.
And I saw a young woman named Kiri, leaving behind her isolated, claustrophobic existence to climb this seemingly infinite, impossible structure, covered in undisturbed snow and forgotten by time. This was the beginning of the tower.
Hello?
Hey!
Kiri? What? How?
I know. It turns out someone installed payphones on the way up the tower.
What?
I know. It's weird, right?
I'll say. I didn't realize payphones still existed.
Yeah, this place is all kind of old.
The Tower is a story about friendship, identity, our place in the world, and our relationship with our past. It is about wanting to fix something, but not really knowing where to start. There's also a surprising number of conversations about telephones.
Hello?
Oh, wow, okay. Hello?
Who is this?
Who is this?
I asked first.
Well, my name's Ike, and I run the phones on the tower.
Really?
I mean, I don't run the phones. I test them to make sure they're still working.
That's your job?
As far as I've been told, yeah.
Why'd you have to test the phones?
To make sure they're still working, obviously.
I made the first 6 episodes of The Tower with the help of my friends.
Katrina Allen as Carrie.
David Pello as Chris.
Mark Galley as Ike.
And Sarah Golding as Kiri's mum.
We initially made the first 6 episodes as a little experiment. It was a side project while we worked on other things. But now we have 3 seasons, 5 music albums, including a lo-fi remix album called Chilled Beats to Climb Impossible Towers 2 that you're listening to right now. 300,000 downloads, a couple of awards, a piano book, and now whatever this is. This story seems to have resonated with people in a way I really wasn't expecting, in a way I don't think I could have expected. Who could have thought that a story about how isolating the modern world can be sometimes would chime with so many people? In a couple of instances, I think it might have resonated just a little tiny bit too much.
Katrina Allen as
Oh no!
David Pello as Chris.
1 star. I'm sorry, that's not an ending. Terrible.
That's a 1-star review of season 1, and definitely not the clip I already played just now. That 1-star review is for season 1, which ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, and it's my favourite review of anything I've ever made. They liked it so much that the ending made them very cross, and so they gave the whole show a 1-star review. There's something kind of beautiful about that, I think. The Tower has always been a place for me to explore what I'm thinking and to figure things out and talk about ideas that I find interesting. It reignited my interest in history, in science, in reading books, in learning stuff.
I'm really getting into reading about the tower.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be learning stuff again. Makes me feel like I'm getting better every day.
One of my favourite parts of The Tower is towards the end of season 2. Kiri's not doing well.
I think I just assumed that I'd come out of this and go back home. Back to normal. I'm starting to realise that that's not really possible anymore.
Do you want to go back to normal?
I don't know. In some ways, yes. I wasn't happy before, but it was stable, predictable. Now I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going. I don't even know what day it is anymore.
You'd rather be able to know the future.
I'd like to know if I'm going to be okay. Is that too much to ask?
Well, I don't know how this ends, and I know you don't either. And there's not much either of us can do about it.
Yeah.
We recorded this in 2020, incidentally. And at the time, I'd also recently figured out I was non-binary. There was a lot going on when we made season 2. Anyway, Kiri has a voicemail.
We got another voicemail, which I think might be for you.
Really?
Yeah. I'll patch it through. Think I've got this worked out.
I got Mark to improvise this next bit, and I just love it so much.
You go here, and you're friends with this guy, and then that means you go... Yep,
And this is my favorite part of the whole show. It features the voice of Sarah Golding, who, by the way, signed off her recording for this, like this.
Stop getting excited. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Just normal actor stuff. I'm going to talk about why I love this monologue so much in a second, because I think it is a good example of why I really love this story and why I think it has resonated with so many people. But before I do that, I just kind of want to let this play out a bit.
Hi, Kiri. It's Mum. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed your call. I was out hiking again. Yeah, the hills are getting bigger and bigger, and the walks are taking longer and longer. It's not too bad, as I have the time now. It's okay, Kiri. I know you're busy and you should be busy, but not too busy. I learned that one the hard way. You work too hard. You're very much like us that way, but we turned out fine. As did you. There is time for long walks now. Yeah, I hope your trip is going well. It can be hard when you're away to ground yourself in something, especially when everything is changing around you. That can also be exciting. And I know you won't shy away from it, and that you'll keep on moving forward regardless, because you are my daughter. With all the bravery and stubbornness of her parents and much, much more besides. It is okay to worry, you know. I mean, even the strongest of us have days when we must rest, and that's how it should be. There were days when I would worry for you constantly, obsessively, even though I knew you'd be alright. I still do, from time to time. But oh, you're older, and I think wiser some of the time. Yeah, we're okay, Kiri. We miss you. But we are proud of you. Every day. And every step of the way, we are behind you. You know, you're always miles ahead of us, eh? Yeah, there will be time to visit, Kiri. Don't worry. And there will be time for long walks. Okay, take care. Bye. Bye. Bye.
I think there is power in slowing down, in giving ourselves permission to slow down. My friend Ollie, who read that amazing 1-star review earlier.
This is for Dev. I'll give you 3 because I'm feeling generous.
Once mused that the world would be a better place if it were run on marijuana instead of speed. The world moves too fast sometimes, and we're so often told that if we don't move fast enough, we'll lose out, that we're not being productive enough, that we're not living up to our potential.
I wasted time, and now doth time waste me.
But we have so much time! A lifetime might as well be forever. And I think the thing that I love about this monologue and the thing that I think I love about this whole story, this whole little weird audio fiction concept album, is that it allows anyone listening to just take a second and slow down and breathe, to just put everything you've been carrying aside for a moment and know that you'll be okay. I don't work at a cocktail bar anymore. This strange little show has allowed me to make telling stories my career. I have time for long walks now. Making the tower made me realize what was important to me. It helped me figure out who I am and who it is that I want to become. It made me brave, I think. I am so proud of this series and everyone involved in it. And I am so thankful to everyone who has come along with us on this journey.
Remember the courage.
I will.
Good luck, Kiri.
Thank you. Good night, Chris.
Good night.
Remember the courage.
God damn, I'm so annoyed I messed up the timing for that ending bit. Oh, that's frustrating. But other than that, I thought that went rather well. I think that went pretty good. I think that was pretty good. On re-listen, I can hear the squeak of Sarah's hidden laugh after the word podcast, and it's the best. It's the correct pronunciation of the word. Okay, like that's in a good place. Like I was happy with that. I'm annoyed I pressed the wrong cue here, but basically I just need to. I think the more familiar I get with my notes, because I don't know if you can. I don't think that'll come up on camera, but you can see I've written down which pad to press on the script. But Bodza Gem, that was beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy with where it is, and like I'm kind of. I think a lot of it is muscle memory. This is the thing. I think it's just getting into the habit. Like there's a point where I have to do a lot of things and talk at the same time. It's not complicated. It's just a case of practicing it over and over again. But yeah, I think this is in a really good place. Like hopefully, like I think, I've done performing enough in my life that I know that if something goes wrong, I know how to handle it. And yeah, it like. This is a new thing for me. This is a new way of doing things, and I've kind of already made my peace that before. For me to get very good at this, I have to make some stuff that might not work, or some performances might not necessarily work straight away. It's just a case of practicing and doing the thing over and over again, and I'm looking forward to doing that. It's nice to be doing something new. I haven't. It's nice to be trying out a new practice or trying something I'm very familiar with but in a new way. It captured my attention all the way through a second time. Book is open on that, but I didn't read a line. Thank you so much. That is very encouraging. Thank you. So yeah, because like I have another piece that's written, but the problem is that like I don't quite have the do I have it? I think I do. Did I put the script? I do actually have the script. Do you want to hear a work in progress as well? You know what? Since you've been so wonderful, I'm going to give you a work in progress one that's not that I've maybe only maybe done once or twice. Phil Corbett. Oh, thank you. Phil Corbett is here. Oh, thank you so much, Phil. Oh, that's incredibly kind of you. I am so excited for the show on Thursday. Chat, Phil Corbett is the wonderful person who has invited me to perform with them on Thursday. It's their gig. It is their gig, and I'm incredibly excited for it. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Phil. And it's meant that I'm actually finally doing stuff with this, which is great. So that makes me a lot less nervous knowing that you've seen it and you're like thank you that you think it's good. That makes me a lot more relaxed about it. So thank you. Thanks for coming and thanks for dropping by, Phil, as well. It's incredibly kind. But yeah, I'm gonna give you a work in progress now. I don't quite have the order of this. I don't quite have the timings. But I'm gonna give it a go. And this is kind of an idea of what I want to do with this live setup. I've got a couple of audio drama pieces that I want to do with this, but I'm still writing them and then I need to record them because I will need actors for them as well. So there might be another casting call at some point soon. Yeah, I've just noticed that I don't have the sounds written down here. So I don't know what pads do what, but let's find out. So that's train.
The left hand of darkness.
Quotes. Okay. Right. So this is where you get to see another thing of the mixer here. So this is also an effects box. This also has dedicated effects. You might have noticed that because of the dedicated effects button that's glowing here. But basically this is like a guitar effects box, but in this kind of mixer format. And I have a lovely, delightful delay effect on here that I get to use in this piece. So let's see if we can make this work. Like I said, this is very much a work in progress. So we'll see if it works. Gender is a 0.5 second delay. Omni-gender. I don't remember when I bought my copy of The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. I think it was around 2018, 2019-ish. I vaguely recall it being something of an impulse purchase, passing by the big Waterstones on the way home from work in Glasgow. My only real memory was reading the introduction on the way home. I remember it felt strangely transgressive at the time. Sure, it was a sci-fi book, and I read a lot of sci-fi books, but this wasn't just a sci-fi book. It was a sci-fi book about gender. I pressed the wrong button. I'll do that line again. Sure, it was a sci-fi book, but it was a sci-fi book about gender. The book isn't really about gender, in the same way that this piece isn't really about The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula Le Guin. It's actually about a single sentence in the introduction written by China Mieville that has never stopped floating around my head.
The Left Hand of Darkness is a book about snow and ice, a melancholy cryophilia, all the more poignant now in a world heating up as we mourn the ongoing death of cold.
Is that Ollie? Yes, that is Ollie. There are two parts of that sentence that have taken up lodgings somewhere in my subconscious. The first part is
melancholy cryophilia,
which, apart from anything, is a great name for a band. The second part is that 5-word phrase at the end.
The ongoing death of cold.
Let's start with the first part.
Melancholy. Adjective. In literature, affected with great sadness or depression. Cryophilia. Noun. In ecology, a tendency to thrive at low temperatures.
I'm one of those odd people that prefers being cold to being hot. I grew up in Aberdeen in the northeast of England, right next to the North Sea. My childhood consisted of icy winters, huddled in the back of the car with my brother and sister, seeing how low the in-car thermometer would go before we got to school, and cheering when it got to a new low.
Had low temperatures, especially when Dad was driving to work on a morning. I remember going up to Colt Hill and driving on snow onto the yard, and that was between Christmas and New Year, and we couldn't actually get going with the horses till March because the snow just wouldn't go.
My parents were hikers, and many a weekend was spent out in the Grampian wilderness being buffeted by rain and the mountain winds, holding on to my little sister to stop her blowing away. My mum used to say, "It's better when it's raining. It means there's less people," without ever really stopping to think that maybe there was a reason why.
If the weather's bad, yeah, you've got fewer people around in the car parks and things, yeah.
Oh, right,
yeah.
so it's a car parking issue.
Well, not just car parking, but if you're in a popular area for walks and things, if the weather's pretty awful, yeah, there's less likely there's going to be a lot of people out walking.
That's my actual mum, by the way.
So what's this thing all about then with cold?
It's a piece about people who prefer being cold to being hot.
Right. I'm more of a prefer the cold than really, really hot. Really, really hot just saps my energy, but cold, I think it's just because, sort of, Dad always says it's to do with your genes wherever, you're used to, sort of like, who was it? Somebody, I think one of his workmates, he was Indian, but his children had been born over here. So when they used to go back to visit family, they couldn't cope with the heat. Because they'd been born and bred here, so they were cold adapted. So when they used to go back over, they struggled with the heat. But yeah, I think I prefer to be cold, although Dad would say that I'm never happy. But I prefer to be colder and wrap up. Whereas if you're very, very hot, what can you do to cool down, really? Whereas if you're cold, you can wrap up.
I did not like hiking. Let me just make sure I've got the right. Right, okay. Shit. I did not like hiking. Actually, I hated hiking. But there was always a ritual when we reached the top of the hill or the mountain or the particular bit of the middle of nowhere that we were walking to, where my dad would take a little paraffin camping stove out of his rucksack, hunker down somewhere hidden from the wind, and cook sausages. Imagine hiking to the top of a hill in the north of Scotland and finding a family of 5 variously coloured waterproofs huddled around a tiny camping stove, all munching on sausage sandwiches and all looking very, very cold. Those sausage sandwiches were the absolute best, by the way. They almost made the whole ordeal worth it. They were a delicious gift of internal warmth in a world that was nothing but cold. You felt your whole body come alive again as the bites of bread and sausage lit a fire in your belly. The thing weirdos like me usually say when we're asked why we're like this is that it's easier to warm up when you're cold than it is to cool down when you're hot. I think it's a little more than that, though. To come in from the cold to a warm fire is... To come in from the cold to a warm fire or a hot drink feels like home to me. It feels like comfort. To come in from the heat looking for cold feels like escaping from something that means you harm. Cold preserves. Heat destroys.
Well, it comes after the Met Office issued a red extreme heat warning across England that stretches from London to Manchester and York. The sweltering heat has already caused significant disruption to the travel network, with the public being warned not to venture out unnecessarily.
I sometimes think about what it would be like to try and describe the feeling of cold. I tried to write a story where a parent and their child travel through a baking, dried up world to visit an old crone. And the parent asks the crone to tell their child about what cold feels like, to preserve the memory of it in a world where there is only heat. When I started writing this piece, I originally tried to fill this section with descriptions of what cold feels like. And that button isn't doing anything for some reason. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. What is this button supposed to be? Is it wind? Is it meant to be wind? Oh no. What? Oh, right. Okay. I'm a fool and I made a mistake. Okay. So there was meant to be music under that last bit that I forgot to turn on. Right. When I started writing this piece, I originally tried to fill this section with descriptions of what cold feels like. Cold is a feeling in your fingertips, your toes, your nose, and being more aware of them than you ever thought possible. It is your skin coming alive to its touch. It's your eyes wide open. It is air. It is freshness. Cold is a tightening, a curling inward. It is a covering. And none of them worked. Admittedly, this could be my deficiencies as a writer. But I don't think the feeling of cold can be translated into words. Not fully. Like a photograph, it's a flat representation without depth, without movement, without life. Something gets lost in the translation.
The Left Hand of Darkness is a book about snow and ice, a melancholy cryophilia, all the more poignant now in a world heating up as we mourn the ongoing death of cold.
Is it strange to worry about losing a feeling? I get sad in winter, like a lot of people. Especially in Scotland, where it feels like the sun barely comes up over the horizon for more than an hour. I spend evenings pacing around the flat, wrapped in a jumper and sometimes a blanket or several, using all the curses I know on our crappy boiler that keeps losing pressure every couple of hours. But it gets to the summer. It gets to the heat waves. It gets to the afternoons with all the windows open and the curtains closed, lying on my bed in my underwear, struggling to exist. And I yearn for the cold again. And I worry that one day it won't come back. I am thankful when it rains after a heat wave. It is a small, quiet feeling of relief that has become a yearly ritual every summer. When the rain comes, I stop what I'm doing and open all the windows and let the sound and the smell and the cool feeling wash through my home, through me. I sit on my bed with my cat, looking out the big window that gives me a distant view of the hills outside the city. And I watch the rain trying to remember every second of it. Thankful that there is still rain. And thankful that there is still cold. Okay, so that's the work in progress. That's the sort of experimenting with I mean, very rough around the edges because I'm still trying to. First of all, don't have the script labeled, which is a silly thing that I should have done. But yeah, so that's kind of an idea of like the sort of pieces I want to try doing. Have a sort of blend of that, and also have some slightly more kind of performed audio drama pieces, a bit like what I was doing with the tower, but also having something original that isn't just like basically a promo for a podcast, you know. So yeah, I'm playing around with stuff, and I'm very much enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Like it feels really good to be making stuff away from the computer. I know that sounds hypocritical because I'm talking into a computer right now, but like it feels good to be making something, to have stuff in front, like doing stuff with buttons and machines and having it all here without having to be at a computer. Like normally I have to set up on a different desk over there, so it means like I've just got this in front of me and a microphone, and it means that it's thinking a different way, it's working in a different way, and it's refreshing to do. So yeah, I really love this setup, and like I really love making stuff with this setup as well, and I'm kind of excited to make more sort of original stuff for it. Is that Ollie? Yes, that is Ollie. That was Ollie doing that thing. I think the mistake I made was that I forgot to give Ollie the context of of the quote. So Ollie gave it the full whack, which is wonderful. I think they did send me a more neutral version, so I think I might need to swap that out. And it is Ella again. Yes, like I'm at such an early stage where I'm like, I don't know if any of this stuff is ever going to go out, if I'm ever going to perform it, if I'm ever going to record it and put it out somewhere. So I'm kind of just saying to people I know who have ready access to a microphone and can record something very quickly, just being like, can you just quickly like do that? Can you just quickly like record this for me? You can send it as a voice note. It doesn't have to be like proper recording. Just while I find my feet with this particular format, you know. Once again, Amber is like, Mom, do you want to be in a podcast? Yeah. again. Well, because with this one, I very specifically wanted to talk about, because genuinely, I rang my mom up because I wanted to try and get I wanted to try and get her to say that hiking is better in the cold. But then she ended up saying a whole load of other stuff that I thought was really interesting. So I kind of rewrote the script and incorporated more clips. I don't think did I do anything to that sound? I don't think I did. If I can find it. Oh, that's the wrong one.
The ongoing.
Nope.
Had low temperatures, especially when Dad was driving to work on a morning. I remember going up to see up to Cold Hill and driving on.
That's me sitting on my bed with my phone with my mum on speaker, and then like my Zoom H1 just on the bed. On the bed, just recording that, and it came out really, really well. It came out a lot better than I was expecting it to. I thought I'd have to do a lot of stuff to it. Lindsay6630, thank you so much for stopping by. Yeah, and we've done the tower stuff, and I just thought I'd end with a more work in progress stuff, because I'm still figuring out what I want to do with this setup. Makamoira, hello. It switches dials and slidey things. Oh yeah. Oh man, this is like I said it's nice to be working away from the computer. This is so tactile. I love it so much. Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, it's good because this is a touch screen as well. So like I can do all sorts of things. I can use this as a touch screen. What's that effect? That's just a weird little talkback. And then like you can put Bluetooth audio in here. You can use it as a soundboard. But if you have an app for it, oh, it's good. It's very, very good. And then, like I said, this has a load of effects on it as well. So it's just lots of buttons and menus and things you can do, and you can edit audio. Like if I've got a clip here.
If the weather's bad, yeah, you've got.
Like if I.
Well, it comes off the meta.
Where's a piece of music? It's here. Like if I do this, I can edit where the clip starts and finishes, and then I can make loops with it. It's great. You can also use this as a DJ controller, which I don't know how to do, but it sounds cool. That was wonderful and reminded me a lot of activists from indigenous nations north of the Arctic Circle talking about fighting to retain the human right to be called. Yeah, like I do mean it. Like the sentence, this idea of like the death of cold. I think that when I read that really resonated with me, and that I feel like just as a phrase that's stuck with me. And I think that's the sort of, it's a disquieting thought that I don't think has ever gone away since I read it. And like I said, I tried to turn it into like a short story, and it just didn't work. Maybe I need to try again. I don't know, but like, yeah, I really wanted to do something with that. I've got a spacey story as well, but that I need to actually get some actors to help me record that. I'm a circumpolar culture nerd. Oh, circumpolar, what a wonderful word. Okay, so is this form, this was the kind of big question. Like, would people be interested in me kind of doing more streams like this with this setup, but like actually like making stuff, so like. So a little bit, so it can be a little bit like the writing streams we did for Anamnesis, and the covers series that we did, where I can where we can write a script and then we can source some sounds and some music, put the piece together, and then translate it onto here, and then have a piece at the end, kind of developing more of a live setup kind of thing. Because it's something I'd like to do. Like in terms of the actual logistics of it, it's a little bit more complicated for me in terms of like just the music stuff, but just because I feel, just thinking about the audience that I have, I feel like this is more interesting than just making music all the time, without me having to like come up with new audio drama concepts every week. Good. I'm glad that's got a good reception. I'd love to see some more of your creative process, for sure. Yes, that would be very cool. Amazing. Right. Well, I will try and figure out a way to make it work. With this kind of format. Just looking at what Twitch is telling me as well, it's had kind of a higher consistent viewership than normal. So I'm going to take that as a positive sign. I will have a better setup with the mic and stuff for next time as well. I enjoy your music and I'm willing to try this. Well, thank you very much, Lindsay6630. If you're ever short of creative ideas, let me know. I'm suffering from an overabundance right now. Stories are good, amazing. I'm also delighted to be your beta test audience for experimental audio shows. Well, that's it. Well, because also as well, I really loved sourcing voices for Anamnesis. Like I think possibly my favorite part of Anamnesis was getting people to send in audio clips that sending in audio clips to like put in the audio drama. I love doing that, and I love to do a similar thing with these pieces, but we need to write them first. Lavaita, so good to see you. This was interesting. I hope your live performance to in-person humans goes well. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I hope it goes well as well. I mean, I will let you know, but also I'm hoping to record it as well. So like if it goes well and the recording sounds good, the hope is to be putting it up in the Tower feed. I didn't know you did that. Yes, it was. So what I did was I contacted our delightful Ko-fi members and kind of said to them, like, do you want to be in an audio drama? Because I needed this sort of ethereal, ghostly choir kind of thing. So I sent a script through and kind of said, you can record as much as you like. Here's a little contract. Here's a release form I need you to sign just to make sure that everything's clear. And then and here's the script, and here's a Dropbox link for people to put it in. I think we got about 10, 12 people or so. And so then incorporated that into the audio drama and made this. Like, I'm really proud of Anamnesis. I don't think I talk about that enough. I think Anamnesis is one of the best things I've ever made. And I think a large part of that came from the fact that I was making it in front of people. So yeah, I'm very, 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 very happy with Anamnesis. But right, last thing to talk about before I go. So, as I said last week, for the next few weeks, I'm only going to be streaming on a Monday. And I wasn't able to talk specifically about why last week because it hadn't been announced yet, but now it has. So I believe it is this one. Is it this one? Nope. I'm trying to find which display I'm supposed to use. I believe it's display capture. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let me just bring that up so you can actually see it. Okay. Oh no, now you can't see me. Oh no. Ah, there I am. Oh, whew, that was dicey for a second, everyone. Oh, would you look at that? I'm now on Blue Sky. Who would have thunk? Let's scroll down. So, for the next few weeks, I'm going to be appearing on the Girls Run These Worlds. Oh my goodness, I forgot I did that. Oh, I forgot I installed a plugin that like makes that kind of, if you hover over an image, it makes it bigger for you. I forgot I'd installed that today. I'm doing so well. But yes, so for the next few weeks, I'm performing on an actual play stream, which is being run by the wonderful Ella Watts of Ella Watts' delightful game Upriver Downriver that I also made the soundtrack for. And the first session was on Friday, and sessions after that are at Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is 7 p.m. UK time. And yeah, it's a great time. So if you want to see more of this specific framing of me, you can see me be in an actual play. I am a sort of chaotic. I don't know how you would describe it, but basically I play this chaotic elf first mate that enjoys gambling. I think the vibe I came up with the captain Amber's trans Tulio. Basically, yeah, I was just about to say that. I'm essentially playing like a femme version of Tulio, and having a great time. But yeah, so that is what I'm doing. That's why I'm not streaming on Wednesdays at the moment, just because being on stream 3 times a week is a little bit much for me right now. And also, like, I need to have some evenings, which is quite nice. But yeah, so you can head on over to the Girls Run These Worlds Twitch channel, and that's where I'll be on Friday nights. And also, if you happen to be on Blue Sky, I'm also on Blue Sky. I'm on there as Tin Can Audio. I'm digging the heck out of that soundtrack. Yeah, well, like it was wonderful because when we were on stream, I couldn't see the stream or hear it or anything. So like it was good going to the VOD and going, oh wait, hang on, wait, that's the soundtrack. So it's wonderful to hear it in its context, which is nice. It's good to see that it works in its context as well. But anyway, so that is all from me tonight. Thank you so much for being here. I'm aware that tonight was a bit weird compared to what we normally do, so thank you so much for giving it a chance, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it. We will do more stuff like this. I should follow you on the Sky app. Yes, you should. I accidentally found a very short clip of Tim Curry saying, "Ooh, blue sky," from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and for some reason that just tickled my brain in an interesting way. But I might need to ask you about a thing. What's the best way to contact you off stream? If you go to my website, I believe... Oh, where's my keyboard gone? if you go to my website, there's a contact page. If you drop me a message through the contact page, that's the best way to find me. Give me just a second, just to get rid of the bot. There we go. Got him. Yeah, best way to contact me is through the website, just because Twitter's a mess, and I've had to lock our DMs, and Instagram and TikTok and Tumblr, I'm not reliable enough. The contact page on the website is the best way to get in touch with me about stuff. 360 no scope the bot. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. We'll be back next week. I'll let you know how the live show goes. We might be doing more of this. We might be doing more music, depending on how much time I have to organize stuff. And then I'll be on Girls Run These Worlds on Friday, 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern. But in the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic week. I hope you have a fantastic evening or a fantastic day, depending on what time on a Monday I'm currently speaking to you at. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for coming along. I feel so much better about this show now, this whole setup. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. Good night.